So you want to do some projects or repair some stuff, but you don't feel like you have the space to do it? Well, I'm going to give you the tour of my tiny shop, but also talk about the pros and the cons, what works and what doesn't. So let's get started. Hi, I'm Gene Cavasas. This is my tiny shop, and I've been working out of this for about 3 to 4 years. Before that, it was just a garage cram full of everything. It still is a garage cram full of everything, but it's a little bit more usable. Now, I got a long ways to go to where making this thing the absolute perfect, and now I'm never going to get there with it. Now, my workspace in here is only about 8 feet wide with this bench, and the garage itself is about 21 feet deep, but I don't get the full 21 feet of that because I have to share this with a washer, a dryer, a furnace, a hot water heater, and Lord knows all the stuff that gets shoved in your garage at any time. One of the best things I did was built a small shed outside so I could at least get some of the gardening tools out of here. Things like the lawnmower, leaf blowers, rakes, wheelbarrows, anything like that, because that was stuff I was always climbing over anyway. Working in a tiny shop like this, yeah, it's got its disadvantages, but there are advantages to it too. Like, you can pretty much reach anything you want by standing in one place. It messes up really quick, so you got to clean it a lot, but that's a good thing, isn't it? A small TV feels like a big screen in here. So one of the most important tools in my shop, actually the most important tool in my shop, is the Workbench. This thing is a lifesaver. Now, I store all my larger tools underneath it because I need to be able to take them outside and use them, so I don't want to bolt them down to the bench, but have the bench ready to work with. This bench was designed to where it fits lengthwise within the garage, up and down, as well as I can turn it sideways. It's got heavy-duty casters that you can step down and lock, and that makes a big difference of making sure that it's stable. I used 4x4 posts, and then the top is made out of a framed out 2 pieces of 1/2-inch plywood squeezed together with a piece of masonite on top. So it's good and stable. It can take a hammer, it can take a lot of weight to it. Makes a big difference.
This is my 10-inch Delta portable table saw.
It's small, it's portable, and I can take it outside and clamp it to a sawhorse or a work table. My inexpensive bench sander is kind of a bulky tool, so I keep it under the bench, but I can take it out and clamp it to the bench or to outside if I need it. And my Delta 10-inch miter saw. Same thing, I can take it outside, clamp it down to the bench, or clamp it down in here if I want.
I have a 1-inch belt sander, benchtop belt sander, along with a 4.5-inch benchtop vise. Also, a rotary tool which I have really enjoyed and can be swiveled around and works great.
Babe, when did we get another cat? One of the few tools that I actually have bolted down to the bench is my 9-inch Win bandsaw. Now, I did a review on this, and I'll put a link up in the top, but I have used the heck out of this. This is a real workhorse in my shop because it just does so many things of small, intricate projects. Also, behind me, I have a benchtop scroll saw, and I've not had the chance to use that as much as I thought I would, but that's more me getting used to working with that saw as well. I was able to make some storage room for small parts. This makes a big difference for being able to store things like top rivets, small screws, little parts that you need that you can take out on the job with you, or just set it down, get your parts out, and put it back. The big thing for working in a small area is being able to utilize the space you have. The shelf down on this, because it's the closest proximity to reach and you're going to use a lot of cordless drills, I've got 5 different cordless drills and looks like 4 different chargers, and this is really not the way to go. It would be smart to get everything down to the same brand and the same type batteries and chargers, so you don't have this mix mash of chargers and batteries and different things like that. I'm thinking about switching all the drills and drivers out to the same basic tool so that I'm not switching out tons of different batteries all the time. Let me know what you think is a good brand. I'd really be curious to find out. I do, though, have 2 drills that are near and dear to my heart. I bought one of these for myself and one of these for my dad several years ago. These are anniversary edition all aluminum Black & Decker drills, and that's, my dad passed away a few years ago, and they just mean a lot to me, and I miss it. Next down on the shelf is my 4-inch belt sander. This is a beast. I really like it. I also did a review on this. You want to check that out. The circular saw, a good heat gun, and an oscillating multi-tool. I also have a really great bench mount oscillating sander. I did a review on that too, and I'll put that at the top. Next row down on that is my routers. I've got 3 different routers that I use, and also an orbital sander and a couple of cordless tools that I use. On the bottom shelf down here are some of the tools I use, not as much. There's a air staple gun, a jigsaw, a planer, and things like that. So here's my traditional background that you see in a lot of the videos. It is the pegboard tool wall that has everything. It's crammed full of all of my quick hand tools, wrenches, hammers, hand saws, snips, you name it, it's on this wall, and it's pretty easy to get to. But it gets crowded, including safety glasses, ear protection. It's all sitting up on this. Tape. I have another group of storage compartments. These work great also, and you just can't have enough room to store everything you need.
Under the bench, I keep a small pancake compressor, and I also have a welder. Now, I don't use it much, but it is nice to have it when you need it.
I love this work area, and this was actually the first bench I had and was using in this garage. Moving down this way, I've got where the back door is, and another small bench down here where I keep all of my stains, paints, spray paint, along with there's a drill press and a bench grinder that I keep over here. Under this bench I have a small portable router table with the router installed on it. I don't use it a lot, but when I do use it, it is really handy. Some of the things I'm looking at doing in the future is I really am at a point that I probably need to get a new portable table saw and a new chop saw. Both of these are Deltas. I've used them forever. They've been great tools, but they're older than my son. I've gotten the mileage out of them. They're still working, but you know, there's a lot better equipment out there now, and I'd like to upgrade a little bit. That's another one where let me know what you like. What have you been using? What works? What doesn't work? I would love to hear about it. Put that down in the comment section down below. I know I'm always talking about clamps. I can't survive without a bunch of clamps. Now, I do not have a collection of expensive clamps, but I think I sometimes go for quantity rather than quality, and I would love to have both, but you know, you got to do what you can afford, and I've been able to buy a lot of clamps, not as many as I'd like to have, and I'll keep buying them because I promise you, you never can have enough clamps. You know, one of the issues if you're a YouTuber that you're going to have is trying to film in a tiny space and climbing over your equipment. That can sometimes be a major problem. Just like this. This can get in so much of the way from this camera to the action camera I'm shooting on here. Now, I know there's a lot of things I probably left out and didn't even get a chance to show you, and there's so many positive and negatives about both. The fact is, if you're trying to make something and you have a small space, utilize what you have. You can make it work. I did. Now, I want to grow. I want to expand. My dream is to build that shop out on that slab out in the back, and someday I will, and I hope you'll be part of that with me. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep making this stuff work, as disorganized as it is, and I'm going to keep trying to make it better. Give me ideas. Give me your thoughts. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon.